creativity and aloneness. Having a healthy SQ, spiritual quotient, means entering into a profound relationship with your aloneness. The beauty and the ache of life is really played out through the seasons of our relationships. There are times when we're with someone and times when we're alone. Often the nature of humanity is to long for the other side, so if you're alone you may find yourself at times longing for intimacy, and if you're with someone you may long for more solitude and space. Your SQ speaks of this very human dilemma. Your SQ is really your heart, your soul. Aloneness brings its own gifts, and one of these is an honouring of the sadness of life, as well as its joy. As you learn to contemplate life in more and more depth, you will come into touch with the inner fugue played by joy and sadness. There are times in life when we're called to enter into phases of deep melancholy. Sometimes there are reasons, and sometimes there are not. At such times we often ache for a kind of cosmic loneliness whose roots seem to go so far down into our depths, we wonder if we can ever be truly happy again. Such times can be difficult if we don't manage to maintain a sense of wonder and creativity in our lives. Without the creative process, there's a danger that we're pulled into the black hole of melancholy, which then sucks the life force away from us and leaves us feeling depressed. And once depression sets in, it can be very challenging to build up enough inner velocity to re-emerge. Almost all of life's greatest works of art, music, literature and drama have emerged out of the genius of melancholy, or out of human beings who've allowed melancholy a deep place in their inner lives. If we're to rise to the peaks of consciousness, we must also hold a place for the nadir inside us. And this is a beautiful and vulnerable process. Your SQ is a delicate balance of your IQ and your EQ, your passion and your reason, of shadow and light, of intimacy and aloneness, of loss and love. When you feel the call of your aloneness, then you must find a way to honour it, and creativity is the most vital and transformative way when you're following the path of love. Through creativity you maintain a state of communion with your fellow man. Others can see into your being and take solace from the fact that there's something emerging there. This is from my Venus sequence book. The path of love, the path of aloneness. It's a beautiful passage that this notion that inside us is this absolute essential part of every human journey is to embrace our aloneness, our loneliness, and to go right into that inner solitude. As Rilke the poet said, to go inside and to meet no one for hours, days, the silence, the vacuous space inside us that many of us fear. And yet, out of that space comes forth the sally of our creativity. So we have to have the courage to embrace it and let it become a part of us, and a healthy part of us, not something that swallows us in its fathomlessness. If we let it do that, then it's a difficult path, that path of the depression. So when it comes, we have to find a way to embrace it and to use its energy. And so when sometimes you wake up in the morning and you feel that empty space, that emptiness, instead of immediately trying to run from it, how about just spending some time and contemplating it? Go into it. Just find the softness around it. See that there's something beautiful inside it that may emerge throughout your day. There's an ember in there. There's an ember of light, of beauty. We need to find that ember and follow it, and then release it. So it's okay to be sad for no reason. Sometimes there is a reason, but it's okay. It's part of who we are. The sadness is part of the ecstasy of being human. It's just as much as the highs. And then it's all about this inner awareness, this equanimity that we have to have, but that we can hold these extremes and all the places in between. And then we have this equanimity, and it settles us. So we don't swing from one end to the other, and one back and forward. We're not so attached to being at the high end. No. We can just allow life to play its music through us, and the mystery of that, because we don't get to really control it. It's just the fugue. It's just the melody of life. Something worthy of contemplation.